what to look for when investing in a stock. So today's question came from Chris Murphy, a subscriber, so thanks a million for the question. And he's basically asking, what do you look for when investing in a stock? How do you analyze figures and things like that? So just before we get into the video, can I ask you, if you haven't subscribed already, to hit that subscribe button, as it'll really help me out. Our next goal is 250 subscribers, so it'll be great to be able to hit that. And also, I just want to say, before getting into this video, I'm not a financial advisor. These are just the steps that I take when selecting something to invest in. Everyone is going to have a different kind of take and opinion and steps on it, but these are just the things that I do and what I look out for. So the first question I'll ask myself is, what problem is the company trying to solve in the marketplace, or what customer need are they addressing? And then I'll ask myself, is this need going to increase in demand over time? So a good example of this to use is Tesla. Now, a company's value increasing is great, but if the actual market cap of the industry they are in is also increasing, then that's a really good sign. And that definitely is the case with the EV market, which is set to be valued at 800 billion by 2027. So that, coupled with the fact that governments are trying to phase out fossil fuels over the next sort of decade or so, these are really good signs for me as a potential investor. And that's before I even get into autonomous vehicles and taxis and things like that. So those are two kind of easy questions to ask at the start to kind of pique your interest in certain companies. Another thing I'll do is I'll only invest in companies where I actually understand the fundamentals of the business. Now this might sound painfully obvious, but just look around. What sort of products and services are people using around you? A good example of this is Apple. How many people do you know that have an iPhone, an Apple Watch, AirPods, and maybe a MacBook? Chances are a lot of people you know have at least one or two of those things. Another question I'll ask is, has their revenue been increasing over time? You want to be looking for nice steady growth in revenue each year, like we see here with Apple and Tesla. Another thing I like to look at is a company's debt to asset ratio. While debt's an important aspect of running a highly successful company, I do like to see a company's ability to be able to completely pay off all of their liabilities against their assets. Another metric I like to look at is free cash flow. In simple terms, this is the money left over after taking into account all of a company's expenses. Ideally, similar to revenue, I like to see this steadily increasing over time. Another metric I consider is the price to earnings ratio. So what the PE ratio tells me is what the market is willing to pay for a particular company based on its past or future earnings. This way I'm able to identify whether a stock is over or undervalued. A high PE ratio could indicate that a stock's price is high relative to its earnings. Now, while the PE ratio is a good metric to use, it can be misleading in certain contexts. I'll leave a link to an article down below explaining this in a little bit more detail. So those are just a few of the metrics, kind of qualitative and quantitative metrics that I look at. I'm kind of more on the qualitative side of things, as I'm not a very experienced investor and I don't know a huge amount about the quantitative side of things. So you'll see even in my portfolio that I'm heavily weighted towards ETFs, just because I'm admitting to myself, you know what, I don't know enough about this kind of stuff to be getting into the numbers and taking huge bets on individual stocks. So what I do is I'll just buy a small little piece of the market, like the S&P 500. You've got a tiny little piece of 500 companies, and then you're diversified and you don't need to do as much research into each individual company then. So let me know down in the comments below, how do you identify companies you want to invest in? With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other questions or topics you want me to address or do a video on, let me know as well. And just give this video a like and subscribe if you're new. Thanks a million.